Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm as a representative from Group 1. Here I will introduce today's presenters from my group. My name is Inasyafitri Nazihan, and the next is Lisa Sahrani, and Nur Hamidah, and last is Agung Saidul Fuady. Okay, let's talk about brain in language. Children begin first language acquisition on the basis of biological programming of brain structure and function, which is many fundamental ways in continuous with that of the adult. In adults, the left hemisphere is privileged in language knowledge and processing. The peripheral areas in the left hemisphere are crucial. Everybody has got a language. Everybody has got his or first language, second language, and other languages, foreign languages later. Someone starts his or her life when he or she is 4 years old in his or her mom. The process of language acquisition continuously happen until the baby was born. When the baby is born, the process of acquiring language meaning continues. And then after the birth, the baby starts to produce the language, which is called speaking. But because the baby's speech organ is not ready yet, of course, he or she cannot speak. When the baby is about 6 months old, she or he practices babbling. Baby is already 1.5 years, 18 months, he or she is already in level or in the states of toward states. 2.5 years, 30 months, the baby is already in the level of multi-word stage. So not the baby anymore, that the child. For next is human brain. The human brain is most unusual instrument of elegant and as yet unknown capacity. The human brain is unique in that it is the only container of which it can be said that the more you put into it, the more it will hold. Okay, I think enough.
The Ignatius hypothesis that the human language is a part of the human endowment. The alternative to the Ignatius hypothesis is the learning hypothesis, also known as emergentism, according to which language acquisition is not as fast as the Ignatius position make it ought to be. Evidence from the hypothesis comes primarily from the dramatic difference between young children and adults in their recovery after aphasia. The discussion of language from other cognitive abilities or the capacity some children to acquire language successfully despite other cognitive deficiencies. The neurological plateau the children reach at puberty. Like Fanfield, Lambert also proposed brain lateralization as likely cause for the loss of a language acquisition advanced at puberty. The biological foundation for language and its relevance for the critical period hypothesis was originally proposed by Fanfield. So Fanfield and Robert, the critical period, refer to a temporal span early in life of high sensitivity to environmental stimuli. The phenomenon is psychological in nature and involves change in the central nervous system during the course of development. For some researchers, critical period refer to behavior that are critical for species identification and survival. So for critical period in humans, Bronstein also referred to vision. Naturally, language is another likely candidate.
Stage of language acquisition. According to Chomsky, 2009, in 101 to 102, language acquisition is a matter of growth and maturation of relatively fixed capacity under appropriate external conditions. Language acquisition takes place in mid-conversation when children talk to each other in a short conversation. Children will get the developing of language. It means the children will improve their vocabulary based on adult language. There are 6 stages in children's first language acquisition. The first is pre-talking stage or chewing in 0 to 6 months. According to Bollinger in Hutauruk in 2002, in 218.3, pre-talking stage or chewing is the vowel-like sound responding to human sound more definitely. Turns hit, I seem to search for speaker occasionally, some chuckling sound. For example, in 4 months, demonstrating the chewing stage of language acquisition producing vowel-like sound in the back vowel, u and o in the sound of oh, and ah, typical of chewing. And number 2, bubbling stage in 6 to 8 months. Bubbling is the sound which infant produce as a consonant-vowel combination. According to Steinberg, in 2003, in 147, the sounds which are produced by infants, but not all the speech sounds are same in language of the world, such as ma, or da, and ba, or na. As bubbling progress to meaningful speech talk, the relationship seems get stronger. Number 3 is holoplastic stage in 9 to 18 months. According to Fromkin in 1993, in 328, definite holoplastic from holocomplete or undefeated plus press on sentence. So holoplastic is the children's first single word which represent to a sentence. Children using one word to express particularly emotional state. For example, a child who has lost his mother in a market might cry out mama. It meant that I want mama. And the 2-word stage in 18 to 24 months. 2-word stage is the mini sentence with simple semantic relation. As Fromkin states, the children begin to form actual 2-word sentence with the relation between the 2 words showing definite syntactic and semantic relation, and the intonation counter of the 2 words extending over the whole utterance rather than being separated by a pause between the 2 words. For example, doggy walk for the sentence, the doggy is being walked. Basically, a children at this age is already able to produce the consonant sound like Z, P, B, D, T, M, and N. Stage in 24 to 30 months, telegraphic is merely descriptive term because the child doesn't deliberately leave out the non-content word, as does an adult sending a telegram. This stage contains many 3 or 4-word sentences. Sometimes during this stage, the child begins to see the link between words and object, and therefore overgeneralization comes in. Some examples of the sentence is telegraphic stage are Mommy eat carrot, what's her name, and he is playing ball. During this stage, child's vocabulary expands from 50 to up to 13,000 words. And the last letter multi-word stage is in 30 months more. According to Bollinger in Hutauruk, at this stage it fastest increase in vocabulary with many new additions every day. No bubbling at all, as utterance have communicative intent. There is a great variation among children, seems to understand everything said within hearing and directed to them.
Discussion of language acquisition actually is a discussion in a branch of linguistics that called psycholinguistics. Linguistic has got branches. One of them is psycholinguistic, and language acquisition is a sub-branch of psycholinguistic. Besides language acquisition, another sub-branches of psycholinguistic is neurolinguistic. So what is psycholinguistic? Psycholinguistic is the discussion about the relation between language and psychology. But what is psychology? Psychology is a discussion about human mental and behavior, and neurology is branch of psychology. Then what is neurology? Neurology is a discussion about human brain. So what is neurolinguistic? Neurolinguistic is a discussion about the relation between neurology and linguistic. In our brain, there are certain parts which is called Broca's area, which is related to the phenomenon of language production. And there is also another part in our brain which is called Wernicke's area. This area is dealing with the language comprehension. So Broca's area is one of the part of our brain that serve to produce language, orally or writtenly. And Wernicke's area is the part of our brain that serve to understand language. Maybe that's all. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.